Alright, so we got 5 amazing acts coming up for our open mic. Alright, so please give it up for our first open mic. Mario, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Magic, yes.
Me and Brian are going to do something we haven't done in a long time, and that's freestyle together. So that's why I was begging him to come back up. Coming from the streets of Fresno, the N.O. Every time I gotta must have rhyme, gotta feel so fine, like I was sipping on wine. Gotta get mine, never gonna be declined. Gotta shine, looking up at the stars at night. How I rhyme so tight, ignite like a flame in the game. And I'm so insane, off the top of the brain. Ain't nothing ever changed, I just keep doing it. Always the truest that you never heard. It. Gotta spit it just like a beat, spoken word. Coming straight off the top, just straight hip hop. Every time I gotta drop, and I do it non-stop, and I never ever slow down. Coming from the no town, and I get down. Now you know now, this is how I do it. It's spit like fluid, coming straight from my lips, and you never gotta trip. So legit, when I touch the mic, I rip. Every time I gotta do it, gotta spit it the truest. Coming through smooth, always gotta feel the groove. So now I give to you, Brian Medina.
So we take it on the top, a little poetry freestyle with a cool flow music in the back. I don't rhyme, so this is coming straight from the tongue, from the wicked toe out to the crazy brain. A poetry freestyle here in the know, under hot lights on a Friday night. This is a moment where we move words from God's lips, hoping to touch his nose, falling down like loose leaf papers, writing alphabets across the sky. My poetry moments, here in front of eyes watching me watching you. And I wonder, what is love?
So it's a poetry slam, just chilling with the fam. This is how we get down, and we do it so nice when it's open mic. This is how we do it every time we're coming through, and we gotta do it the truest. They cross us, we leave them the blackest and the bluest, and we always coming through with the newest stuff coming through your ear like the inner ear. The name of the poetry slam. This ain't no scam. This is just straight coming from the dome. Every time I'm at home when I'm on the mic, so I gotta rock it tight. Gotta do it so crazy every time. Just lay back, do it lazy. Doesn't even really matter. Fill me up with drinks like I gotta piss out my bladder, so I'm coming through. And I gotta do this so easy, coming through, just blowing like a breezy wind on a nice summer day. So I gotta come through when I just gotta say that this is how I get down. And I love this town when it comes to the 559. Man, I love the Fresno city. Every time I'm coming down, just like the nitty gritty, coming from the bottom to the top. Yeah, that's really just the story of hip hop. If you never heard, listen to the words, listen to the lyrics. But these days, man, the radio is garbage. It sounds retarded. I like to take it back to the old school, cause I'm an old fool and I'm so cool. If you understand what I'm saying, then I'm really not playing. So I gotta come through with my lyrics and I'm spraying.
The poet takes a deep breath and hopes that his words finds open ears to listen to his words. So he screams out his love every night. He screams out his love, I say every night, hoping, wanting, wishing, coming into the mic like a vandal. He is trying to find Martin. He's trying to find JFK. He's trying to find Biggie. He's trying to find Mumia in the words of the stars. Can you hear it? The beat of a rhythm from the streets coming to you in stereo. A poetry freestyle from the wicked tongue that cannot find no life without his brain scooping to find knowledge, not to be spoon-fed. A poetry freestyle, and a lyrical beat. So number 2 on our list, I'm going to keep this going. Please give it up for Brandy Pikowski. Brandy!
This is a poem called Boogeyman. My tongue sometimes, my brain sometimes, doesn't formulate words how I would like. And oftentimes I think he walked away because my vocabulary wasn't beautiful enough. Like there was something I could say to touch the softer parts of his brain, and he'd unfold himself to me like the flowers my grandmother grew in summer. He was my warmth, and I opened my arms with the thought that maybe being stabbed in the chest wasn't on the menu this time. That maybe he would be a little careful, because scars don't just go away. They ferment, they heal, but they remember. And I remember every time his hand cradled mine and he said, "I love you." Or the times I woke up beside him and thought, I was enough to tuck in, make love to on silent nights when I'm reminded that my mother never caressed me and told me, "I can't teach you love lies not in physical contact, but in patience." I can sometimes hear the clacking in my heart like the Tin Man, and I begged for him to be my oil and give me the courage to believe. I am loved. I am worth something. I am loved. I am worth something. Oftentimes, my lungs filled with more of his saliva than mine, and I am drowned in promises of, "It will work, give it a try." But I am a canvas that keeps being painted over. I dry and another coat is grafted onto what could have been, what should have been. Only I am not the painter. And my head is pulsing, my father's hands wrapping around it, fingernails digging themselves in my brain. And parts of me unpeel. I am vulnerable again. I was told that boogeymen aren't real. They don't slumber in corridors of your worst nightmares. But he slept with my heart. An aching part of my body that bled far too much, but still withheld the storms that summer promised were over. He looked a lot like my father.
So number 3 on our open mic list, I hope I say this right, Adib?
To the dangerous ones. The shot glasses of 1942, the thoughts and the shots that inspire the talk. It is always the dangerous ones that keep your mind locked up in constant flow. Under the influence, drunk, on the highs and the lows, ruby red lips, doll-like eyes. She could be just as dangerous if she wasn't feeling so compromised. Sip the shot slowly, dear. Let the liquor spread across your tongue along the sides of your mouth. Warm caramel fire. His skin taste of tequila and sin. Underhanded way he handed your heart back on a bar tray. Don't you worry, girl. The pain is always short-lived. My heart is sometimes numb. Sometimes I lie. My breath is always trying to catch up with the last time I had you. Tequila sips, not shots. She's a lady.
Please give it up for Roy Cameron and Lindsay McCormick.
Hey mother, I know how you were raised and there's a fine line between race and sticking to your own is what is considered safe, but damn me for not belonging in your white powdered only room. Forgive me for not seeing every black man as a lesser who is supposed to be sitting under the pressure of my high-heeled white foot.
I don't feel any lesser, but if I feel any pressure, it is to show and represent that what was between our people is past tense, which means it is irrelevant to this relationship. This is the medieval times, there's no marriage to be fixed, and I'm not a mixture of set, but I guess that's why life's a bitch. So when we sit together, it's not an effect like 3D glasses. It's the work of a love that is all fantastic.
So don't be colorblind when it comes to God's magic. I fell in love with a black guy, and just because I'm part of a society that will never stop loving me, but not him for the color of his skin, the color of his skin does not say sin. So I'm crawling on my knees, begging, please, Mom, let him in.
Not let me in. I know that I'm black, but in your eyes, what do I lack? Is it integrity, dignity, because I'm not pale? All that should matter is this large infinity that's so large you'll break the Richter scale. And if our love is a crime, then lock me up and throw away the key, but guess he'll be there when it's time to bail me out.
Me? So tell me, Mom, why does it bother you so much to see such a beautiful thing like two different races kissing? Are you missing a heart like the Tin Man? You know I love you, but you cried when someone in our family lost their virginity, and not because it was a sacred entity, but because he was black, and you couldn't stand that fact.
The fact that her virginity is gone, but is it really all that bad? I mean, my people aren't the only ones who produce deadbeat dads. As far as I'm concerned, black men don't make that mistake. Humans do. And it's safe to say that we're all one race. My father wasn't there for me, and I don't plan on taking his place. You're gonna have a mixed grandchild that you'll most likely disown and claim a disgrace. That could have been predicted.
So fuck your statistics about how every black man is, because have you kept up with Zinnerman? That poor boy was innocent. This isn't the 1950s. This love should be easy. Just because you cannot blame your mother for putting these ideas in your head, because I mean, I grew up with you, and to me, racism is dead. So why are you bothering us?
Is it because I'm in love with your daughter's beauty, and since day one you've only seen me as a brown-skinned beast, and you're hungry to destroy our love like a all-you-can-eat feast? Please watch what you eat because
your hatred is getting obese.
Mm-hmm.
You think you own me from my head down to my feet, but last I checked, you didn't co-sign on my life like my first lease. So when he offers you the handshake, don't grab the bat, just accept this. Accept that our love is completely innocent.
And accept that I'm kind and I'm sweet, and this love will withstand time and be what nothing in this world's ever been.
Always in its prime.
Like Optimus. Now tell me.
Isn't it beautiful to see a black and white kiss?
She is white.
He is black.
Picture me as the dark sky at night.
And picture me as the stars that shine.
And
our love is the moon that keeps us light. So can't you see that black and white is right?
So last up on our list of open mics, please give it up for Jessica Madrano.
It has been my life's greatest pleasure to serve you. To serve you the truth on its blood-stained platter, and no matter is too grim to reap from these lips. I'll remind you of everything that you have become blinded by, all the materialized, diamond-studded, platinum-dipped shit that you so gladly sink your teeth into as long as it's cherry-topped and whipped. Whipped like you are bound by chains connected to your TV screen, screaming for you to gracefully spend all your change. For glorified, overpriced, unimportant things, promising short-term smiles and holes in your pockets. Is it an even exchange? But I mean, what the fuck you supposed to believe? All the shit you see on billboards and TV screens? I can see the cloud of truths in their dirty streams. Garbage, bit up so high it's in your nostrils and you cannot breathe. They do the devil's deeds, pulling schemes on mass number society, and it's your children they're targeting. Selling sexy Barbie dolls, fleshy, expensive cars, and drugs and alcohol. But let me ask one question to you all. Many companies have put minorities in their commercials now, but whether they're black, brown, or white, when's the last time you've seen an obese person send out eating burgers and fries, talk about, we like to see you smile? Think about it. Never. Because they know that shit will sell, but what the hell? We go and eat there anyway, knowing damn well that they help create fat America. But hey, Ronald needs to get paid. And it's just like you and me, it's quite easily, we can all get swayed. Monetary things momentarily make us forget about the truly important things. And it's not just you. It's everybody. Them motherfuckers got me too. I got a closet full of clothes and it's so incredible because I got nothing to wear. These beautiful slim women sometimes make me feel insecure, making me feel like I got just a little bit too much thickness here, and here. But I know when I look in the mirror that I'm real. And that's beautiful, not painted, airbrushed, not cut, snipped, and tucked. I am beautiful where I am, and it's so sad. So many girls, women, and men, they don't know their beauty, have grown up having commercialism telling us beautiful, but please don't listen to them. Because they can't sell beauty to in a can, but insecurities they sure can. So the question is now, how much are you willing to pay? To feel pretty for a day, only to wait, look in the mirror, and have it fade away is not okay. That they can make you feel like they get paid while you slave away all day to be something you're not. So love yourself. To love yourself is true beauty, America.
Are you guys ready to find out some scores? Yeah! You know what, Miss Jane Day, can you come on up here?
Okay, you judges that gave the half points, I need to see your hands. There's a few of you that gave 0.5s. It's because of those 0.5s that we have a top 5 instead of a top 8. There was a 3-way tie for 6th place. That means it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6, which is not a good thing. Like I said, thank you. Okay, holy water, holy water. And so it goes 6, 6, 6, then 9, 10. Okay, that's the way the numbers work. So I just want to share with you those 3 people that were tied at 6th place, because you only missed it by like a half a point. Okay, half a point. So the 3-way tie for 6th place was Rachel Ramos, Emilio Craig, and Lindsay McCormick. So here's our top 5.
Y'all ready for the next poet? Please welcome Shelley Fairbanks.
Dear girl with the Sharpies and sewing needles, it's been a while. hasn't it? You've grown up a bit, haven't you? Since the last time I saw you finish something you started. You stopped reading your horoscope on that website a long time ago, the one you used to read for the sake of proving wrong, because you never really were very superstitious, and you always found the idea of everyone born at the same time acting the same hilarious, but I could tell you used it as a motivation. Because it always said Scorpios were people of commitment and people of unmatchable passion, so you wanted to match that commitment to your choice of hobbies, to always work on your drawings and plush toys until they were deemed satisfying, but you've been slowing down and paying less attention to detail. Dear girl with novels and storybooks, you haven't been reading much lately, although you keep up with that habit you have of buying more books before you even finish the ones you already own, but the stacks of unread plots are getting bigger with the stacks of subtle lines under those eyes that I used to love. Now the only characters you grow attached to are your own. The ones you say have bits and pieces of yourself in them, though you only ever claim the flaws they have rather than the good qualities that really make them reflections on the fragile glass surface that holds the makeup of your personality. Dear girl with the rings and bracelets, your hands are always moving. They have been since you were a small child, holding pink and blue crayons in your tiny fists to make scribbles and lines on that you called unicorns because they could be anything you wanted them to be. But nowadays, the restless body parts that you used to use to make creations are shackled to themselves in handcuffs made of string, elastic, and leather. So you lock away your hands for breaking and entering into the room where you keep the ideas that you're too afraid of letting out. Your fingers are weighed down and entertained by the rings that you adore and you love when they get compliments, but when the fruits of your efforts are pointed out as sweet, you pluck them off the tree and let them rot in the fridge so you can offer the store-bought apples instead, so when the fruit has a flaw, it won't be something you made yourself. Dear girl with the downward gaze and hesitant voice, what happened? Confidence transformed into low self-esteem and an unwillingness to move, a fear of change, a phobia of anybody really listening to the words you still speak in spite of your own anxieties, and you hope your messages get lost in translation, despite how desperately you want for somebody to understand you, despite how much you want to turn back time to before you turned 13, when you could stand up to your full height that everybody made fun of for being below theirs, but you would brush off their compliments as you ran your words effortlessly over the tongue you never held, and through the mouth you quickly learned could be used for something other than eating food and chewing out other people. Now, the only times you only ever speak to strangers are when you've scripted yourself. But not only when you're on stage with your poetry on a sheet of paper, but before you ask a question in class, or when you're ordering food or asking for help, you prepare every syllable. But your heart still thumps a tad too loud for 10 minutes after you've spoken. Why is that? Dear girl with the brown eyes and nervous smile, you seem to have forgotten me. You're so wrapped up in the world around you, you've tied your attention to only the things you find wrong with yourself and the things you find perfect in your friends. You have left behind the only person that's always wrapped around your lungs and making sure you're still breathing and your mind's still moving, the one who shares your thoughts and words, the one who shares memories with you, the one who knows exactly what's in that precious box of yours that you seem to be opening less and less. When you really should be looking at it more, you seem to have forgotten the one that can't ever leave. You seem to have forgotten me. Dear girl with the silly little drawings and poems, the Sharpies, sewing needles, novels and storybooks, the rings, bracelets, downward gaze and hesitant voice, keep those brown eyes shining and don't ever stop smiling.
All right, judges, let's see what you give Miss Fairbanks. Y'all ready for the next poet? You know it! Please welcome to this microphone. Oh, you loved him that first round. Will you love him the second round? Mr. Roy Cannon.
My father is sick. Shit. I guess it's time to call him quits. I can't function, I can't think. My emotions run on my heart resemble the passengers of the Titanic. No matter what I do, they're gonna sink and drown into an ocean of nothingness. All of a sudden, I'm heavy-hearted and have a scar on my face. This feeling I have, I cannot negate. I come to terms with myself and say, this is hate. Hatred for the world, for dealing with my family is such a bad card. I've imprisoned myself by literally using my hatred for bars. I like it because I cannot get out, no one can get in. But I mean, what's the use for it when the thought of losing my father literally has me pinned? So I physically go nowhere. My mindset is fuck school. Why should I give myself to the world when the world is so cruel? Atonement serves as a long last, and my only fear is death. And the thought of the thought of losing I'm sorry guys. It's a long last, and my only fear is death. And that son of a bitch is on the straight and narrow path straight towards my dad. At least that's what I think, because to me my father is Superman. He has no weakness. Every day I live life seeing him attached to this tanks full of oxygen. I think, how can he beat this? How can I fix this? How can you help us through this? Now pause. Let me make this clear. My father is very much alive, healthy, laughing. He is as alive as ever. But in my mind, I over-exaggerated because knowing my father isn't as healthy as he used to be is a huge bummer. Then a miracle happened. It came that summer. Although my father is still sick and I'm looking for reasons to smile, I said a miracle was given to me, and lo and behold, God blessed me with a child. Now, that right there makes me smile. That puts a smile up on my face because out of all the millions of sperms, he the one that won the race. You guys get it? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, my hatred is slowly turning to joy. I tell my father, look what I've done. I brought in a boy. Now, Father, I can sing this to you all day long and make it your favorite song. I mean, it has to make you happy knowing that your legacy lives on and on and on and on. Hey, on and on and on and on. My happiness is bouncing back and forth like a game of ping pong. I mean, God left me an angel and he even left his wings on. Like, I know you gotta be thinking, what does that do with my father? It's simple. You've been a great example. You've been strict, loving, caring, affectionate, passionate. When it comes to being a protector, you don't know how to hesitate. You've been solid, you've been a brick, you've been a rock. You've been a great foundation. I have a lot of goals in my life, and being like my father was the one that I'm chasing. I've learned from every moment we've embraced it, and I've learned not to take it for granted. I'm thankful that I've had a best friend that kept me reminded that great fathers don't come around often. His hatred for his father is so high, he preferred to see him in a coffin. I've always loved how we took him in and saved him from the world he was lost in. I plan on being every bit of man to my woman that you are to mom, and I hope that I'm half the father you are to all your sons. Now, I wasn't supposed to do this, but I can't help it. As touching of a story this isn't mine to tell. This is the story of a friend I would do anything for, a friend that I would go to war with, a friend that I would do anything to get out of jail or for any religious reasons do what I can to prevent him from going to hell. This friend I've had, I shit you not, for literally 14 years. Now do the math, that's first grades. So any best friend moment, we've been there, done that. And to our father, I want to say thank you for being everything my biological lacked. And to my friend, I want to say, your pain is my pain. The ceiling of our love for him is the same. And I'm thankful for every life lesson he's ever gave us, because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be the family we are today. And I don't care what any of you say, I am claiming him as my nephew. To you, I want to say thank you because you made your father, my friend, my brother, the happiest man on earth. The biggest miracle in 2012, other than the world not ending, was your birth.
All right, judges. Let's see what Mr. Roy Cameron gets. Y'all ready for the next poet? Number one. Ooh. Please welcome Seth Simon.
As I'm standing up here, I'm listening to a freestyle about Fresno by Brian and Mario. But I'm thinking to myself, I'll never hear that shit on the radio. I wasn't asked to come here. So raise your hand if you're from the 559. Pregnant at the age of 16 and your future job pays you in nickels and dimes. Are you really proud of where you come from? How does it feel to know your town's reputation? Full of wannabe gangsters, probably in a molestation. So stand up and turn around, make Fresno proud to be part of this goddamn nation. I'm not saying where I came from is any better. But if there's a war and a bunch of settlers, you better let out all the inmates of Fresno cells, because there's no way you beat my city, Los Angeles Woodland Hills. Yeah, we're loud and awake 24/7. But what the hell is this shit? You guys have a curfew of 10 or 11, and your preacher at the service is a two-faced reverend. I've learned so many things from this city. Men are pigs and girls think they're pretty. Go figure. How many of you can picture a world when people are being productive, not trying to be a slut, whore, or even being seductive, more being reluctant? Yeah, we may have more bums in our streets, but at least my city can let them eat instead of, yeah, we know the dead bum in the street. Why can't Clovis help Fresno? Or Fresno help Clovis? Because the 559 is totally bogus, yet they think they're relentless. I think they're scandalous. That's why I want to move back to my home, Los Angeles.
Judges, write down your scores. Are y'all ready for the next poet? Please give it up for Mario Manganiello. Mario!
If I never failed 100 times, I never would have wrote 100 rhymes. If I never fell down, I wouldn't know how to rebound. If I never tried, I would always be denied. If I never cared, I would never stay here. If I called it quits, I would never be legit. If I never put in blood, sweat, and tears, I would never conquer my fears. If I never went through hell, there would be no story to tell. If I never hurt so bad, I would never be so glad. If I never suffered depression, I couldn't handle rejection. If I was never dyslexic, I couldn't appreciate where I've been at. If I wasn't raised in the projects, I wouldn't know poverty's context. If I never dodged a bullet, I would have never lived life to the fullest. If I never saw my parents living life for justice fighting, I would never be enlightened. If I never lost them in the same year, I wouldn't know how to shed a tear. If I never had anger issues, my poetry would have never been used. If I was never given up at birth, my life would have been cursed. If I never faced problems, I wouldn't know how to solve them.
All right, judges.
Are y'all ready for the last poet? Beautiful. Please give it up for Aiden Medina.
Maria Pistolas, she didn't have many choices. She chose too early to be a wife. If you can call her decision at 14 a decision at all. Maria Leon, she did not have many choices. She was also a child bride, and she was wearing her father's boots, following my grandfather down a road while he rode on a big black horse. My mother, she had better choices. See, she fell in love, and she was only 13, but she said, no, I will not get married until you go and find a job, and I go to school. So she waited until she was 19, and she felt that life was passing her by, and she better marry that man quick. She brought us here, and then they gave me choices. They said, either you go to school and get a job where you can be okay and take care of a family, or you can go to work in the fields. Those were my choices. The choice was really clear for me. See, school was the only way. That was really the only choice I ever had. My daughter, she's 18. She just graduated. She doesn't have a choice. Her only choices were, what college do you want to go to, young lady? So those are the choices. And we've come a long way, baby, from La Cañada, Guanajuato, Caracheo, Mexico, via Salinas, California, via Monterrey, and all the way to Fresno. And I'm still making choices.
Judges, write down your scores, raise them up nice and high.
In third place, drum roll, please. With a score of 53.0 out of 60, Mario Manganiello. In second place, with a score of 53.5 out of 60, Seth Simon. With a score of 54.5, placing her in first place, Aiden Medina. What a show tonight, yeah? If you like what you heard, what you saw, what you felt, what you took inside your soul, find us, friend us on Facebook. Friend us on The Inner Ear Presents the Beatdown Slam. Friend us on The Inner Ear Poetry Jam. We have been blessed to be here for 11 years. And it's through wonderful people like yourselves and wonderful friends who are poets, who are artists. And don't only support us, go outside your comfort zone. Try something new.